A silent night. Suddenly, the silence is shattered by a powerful explosion. Within seconds, a black Audi RS6 roars to life. The speedometer reads 250 kilometers per hour. 15 minutes later, the car is already crossing the border between Germany and the Netherlands, leaving behind a bewildered police force and a smashed ATM. This is not a scene from The Fast and the Furious. This is the reality of modern Europe, where a group of professional criminals, known as the Audi Gang, has been terrorizing law enforcement agencies of two countries. According to the police, since 2015, they have carried out hundreds of daring attacks, stolen millions of euros in cash, and part of the gang still remains elusive. The history of this criminal organization began in 2015 on the German-Dutch border. Initially, the police did not link separate incidents together. Thefts of luxury autos in Germany, brazen robberies in the Netherlands. But it soon became clear all these crimes were committed by one group that had developed a unique robbery method. According to the investigation, the group consists of 200 to 500 people, mostly young men with Moroccan roots who have Dutch citizenship. Most of them come from troubled areas of Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Utrecht, where high unemployment and lack of prospects push young people onto the path of crime. The technical training of the criminals is particularly striking. Each member of the gang is a professional in their field. Some specialize in car theft, others are experts in explosives, and others are responsible for logistics and operation planning. But their main advantage is the powerful Audi RS6s, with a standard output of 580 horsepower. In underground workshops, these cars undergo serious preparation. All GPS tracking systems are removed, special tires are installed for driving on punctured wheels, and additional fuel tanks are fitted for prolonged chases. On German autobahns, such vehicles are capable of reaching speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour, making pursuit virtually impossible. According to German police, in 2022 alone, 493 attacks on ATMs were recorded. The total amount of annual losses reaches 20 million euros. But the greatest concern is not the financial aspect, but the growing brutality of the criminals. In North Rhine-Westphalia, the state bordering the Netherlands, in the first half of 2022, the number of explosions doubled compared to the same period of the previous year. The investigation revealed a shocking scheme of the gang's operation. First, they steal Audi RS6s in Germany. The cars are transported to secret workshops in the Netherlands, where they are modified, repainted, and prepared for operations. In parallel, another group studies potential targets, ATMs with large sums of cash and convenient escape routes. The operation itself takes just a few minutes. The gang operates in groups of 3 to 4 people, using a minimum of 2 vehicles. One blocks possible police approach routes, while the other, the technical group, sets the explosives. After the explosion, they grab the money and instantly disappear. In Amsterdam, out of 12 attempted bombings, only once did the criminals manage to escape with the money. That's how serious the security measures have become. Interestingly, it was the strengthening of security in the Netherlands that forced the gang to refocus on Germany. There, ATMs often contain more cash, and security systems are weaker. Moreover, in the Netherlands, most ATMs have been moved to residential areas, making attacks too risky due to possible civilian casualties. The change in hacking methods poses a particular danger. Whereas previously criminals used gas mixtures, they have now switched to powerful explosives. In 2020, the number of attacks using explosives increased by a staggering 516.7%. The explosives are wrapped in tape and placed near the cash dispensing slot, resulting in extensive damage. In Dusseldorf, a special international investigative team has been set up to coordinate the fight against the gang. However, the unique structure of the organization, without a clear hierarchy, with autonomous groups, complicates the work of the police. According to Europol, This is not so much an organized gang as it is a criminal phenomenon that requires a special approach to investigation. The Audi Gang has forced a rethinking of methods for combating organized crime in Europe. Their technical skill, speed of response, and decentralized structure pose unprecedented challenges for law enforcement. And while banks install new security systems and the police develop new interception methods, the main question remains open: how to stop criminals who have turned Europe's autobahns into their personal racetrack. Behind every successful robbery by the Audi Gang lies a complex system of preparation and planning. The investigation revealed that the criminals created an entire infrastructure, from car theft to the establishment of a training center where they train new personnel and practice hacking methods on real ATMs. It all starts with target selection. Reconnaissance teams analyze ATMs in the border regions of Germany. They study the location of surveillance cameras, police response times, security systems, and escape routes. Particular attention is paid to ATMs near motorways. This allows them to cross the border into the Netherlands as quickly as possible. The organization has a well-established scheme for choosing targets. According to the police, the criminals have created a detailed database of ATMs, where each object is classified by risk level and potential profit. They even know the approximate amounts of cash at different locations. The police suspect that the gang has informants in the banking sector. In parallel with reconnaissance, teams specializing in the theft of Audi RS6s, the car that has become the gang's calling card, are at work. The choice of this model is not accidental. The standard RS6 has a powerful engine with 580 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and a spacious interior where all the necessary equipment can be placed. One of the detained gang members, Kevin H., was a notorious car thief in his city. Stolen vehicles are transported to underground workshops in the Netherlands. There they undergo serious preparation. All standard GPS tracking systems are removed. Special tires capable of withstanding police spikes are installed, and additional fuel tanks are fitted. A lot of attention is paid to electronics. The cars are equipped with police radar detection and remote engine blocking protection systems. The most interesting details about the preparation of the vehicles were revealed by a detained gang member. According to him, each car undergoes complete disguise. Numbers are changed, color is altered, and fake identification numbers are installed. In case of pursuit, the cars are capable of reaching speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour on the autobahns, making the chase virtually impossible. The investment in preparing one vehicle is significant, about 100,000 euros. However, these costs are quickly recouped. If in the Netherlands, due to enhanced security measures, out of 12 bombing attempts, only one can be successful, in Germany, where protection is weaker, the gang regularly obtains significant loot. In 2020 alone, the amount of stolen funds amounted to 17 million euros. The evolution of ATM hacking methods is of particular interest. Initially, the gang used the gas method. Through a special hole, they pumped in an explosive mixture that detonated from an electrical impulse. But after banks installed systems to neutralize gas and dye banknotes, they had to change tactics. Now criminals use explosives wrapped in tape, which they place near the cash dispensing slot. This method has proven so effective that in 2020, the number of such attacks increased by 516.7%. However, it is more dangerous. Explosions often lead to significant destruction and threaten the lives of local residents. The robbery operation itself is timed to the second. The gang operates in groups of 3 to 4 people. A minimum of 2 cars are used, one for the attack, the other for cover. In Utrecht, the police discovered a training center where criminals practiced every stage of the operation on real ATMs. Training videos were also filmed there about the most effective blasting methods. From the moment they approach the ATM to escaping with the money, no more than 3 to 4 minutes pass. During this time, they manage to set the explosives, blow up the safe, collect the money, and disappear. Operations are conducted mainly at night. Criminals use masks and night vision devices. After each operation, the vehicles are repainted or dismantled for parts. An interesting case occurred with a newer T, who ran a network of garages in Utrecht. Stolen cars were stored there, which were then sold to other criminal groups with new numbers. According to the police, some of these cars were even used to prepare high-profile murders. Unlike traditional criminal organizations, the Audi Gang does not have a clear hierarchy. According to Europol, it is more of a criminal phenomenon than a structured group. Each autonomous team has its own specialization and can act independently. It is this feature that makes fighting the gang so difficult. The arrest of one group does not stop the activities of others. New members are recruited mainly in troubled areas of Dutch cities. They are attracted by quick money and exciting adventures. Newcomers undergo serious training at the training center, where they learn not only to drive powerful cars, but also to work with explosives. Unfortunately, this sometimes leads to tragedies. In 2020, one of the newcomers died during an explosives training exercise. The gang's security system is also impressive in its complexity. They use encrypted communications, have their own intelligence, and constantly monitor police actions. After each successful attack, the money goes through a complex laundering system before entering legal circulation. The gang's annual turnover is estimated at tens of millions of euros. In North Rhine-Westphalia, an ATM explodes almost every other day. Due to the strengthening of security measures in the border regions, criminals have begun to move to other federal states of Germany, where protection is weaker. Even large-scale police operations have so far failed to stop this wave of robberies. The gang's technological arsenal is constantly being updated. The investigation revealed that the criminals carefully document their methods, create training videos, and constantly improve their tactics. Their ability to adapt to new security measures impresses even experienced police officers. As one German investigator noted, this is not just a gang. This is a criminal phenomenon that requires completely new methods of fighting. A quiet night at the beginning of 2016. The small German town of Uerdingen. 3 young criminals from Utrecht have just robbed a phone store and are speeding away in a stolen Audi. In a few minutes, this night will become one of the most tragic in the history of the Audi Gang and will forever change the perception of the level of danger posed by these criminals. Surveillance cameras captured the gang's classic style: a black Audi at a breakneck speed, a team in dark clothing. But this time something went wrong. On one of the turns, the car lost control. The consequences were fatal. 2 gangsters died on the spot, and the third, Yassine, was paralyzed for life. Just a month later, another tragedy occurred. After successfully blowing up an ATM at Sparkus in Meppen, another trio of criminals tried to escape in an Audi RS4. At breakneck speed, they collided with a truck and then crashed into a tree. Sadiq S., a relative of Yassine, was killed instantly. Kevin H. survived, but he had to be cut out of the mangled car. The third gang member, a newer T, tried to escape on foot and called a taxi to the nearest hotel. The bloodied criminal was quickly arrested after the taxi driver notified the police. These tragic incidents provided invaluable information to the investigation about the gang's methods of operation. DNA material, the names of the criminals, and evidence from the vehicles were obtained. The investigation showed that this is not a single structured organization, but a network of different groups operating autonomously, often without coordination among themselves. Each attack is carried out by a group of 3 to 4 people, where each has their own specialization. For example, the detained Kevin H. was a notorious car thief in his city. A newer T, a former kickboxer from Utrecht, had connections with the drug mafia and ran a network of underground garages where stolen cars were stored. In March 2020, an event occurred that forced the police to radically change their approach to fighting the gang. During an attack on an ING ATM in Breda, a powerful explosion occurred. After an eerie silence, an Audi with 3 young criminals sped towards Belgium. During the chase, the gangsters opened fire on the police with automatic weapons. The chase ended only after the Belgian police set up special spikes on the highway. But the greatest concern was caused by the gang's change in tactics. Whereas previously they used gas mixtures for blasting, they have now switched to powerful explosives. In 2020, the number of such attacks increased by a staggering 516.7%. The new method involved the use of explosives wrapped in tape, which was placed near the cash dispensing slot. One of the most high-profile cases involved Tarek B, whose gang carried out at least 15 bombings in Germany. During one of the attacks, the explosion was so powerful that the entire building, from which a family barely managed to evacuate, caught fire. For this case, the prosecutor's office initiated an investigation under the article Attempted Murder. In response to the escalation of violence, the police also changed their tactics. Instead of direct pursuit, which often ended tragically, they began to use the method of silent pursuit, secretly observing the criminals until the moment when they can be safely detained. The fight against the Audi Gang has turned into a real war on the roads of Europe, where the stakes are constantly rising and the methods are becoming increasingly dangerous. And while the police develop new interception methods and banks strengthen security systems, the Audi Gang continues its dangerous game. Each new attack can be fatal, both for the criminals themselves and for random witnesses. This is no longer just a robbery. It is a deadly race where the price of a mistake is a human life. It's like trying to catch a shadow. This is how the chief investigator of Europol described the fight against the Audi Gang. And he was right. Over the years of investigation, the police of Germany and the Netherlands have spent enormous resources, employed the latest technologies, and involved hundreds of agents. The results have been mixed. The group continues to operate, constantly adapting to new countermeasures. The active phase of the confrontation began after it became clear traditional methods of police work are ineffective against this new type of crime. The German and Dutch police joined forces, creating a special task force. For the first time in the history of the European police, such close international cooperation was established to combat a single criminal group. The first serious results came unexpectedly. During a standard border check, customs officers discovered a truck with a false bottom. There were not only tools and equipment for breaking into ATMs, but also detailed documentation, diagrams of security systems, and escape routes. This find allowed a first glimpse into the criminal organization's kitchen. The investigation showed that the Audi Gang is not a classic hierarchical structure, but rather a criminal phenomenon, as Europol calls it. It is a network of autonomous groups operating independently of each other, but using similar methods and tactics. It is this feature that makes fighting them so difficult. According to the police, this network includes 200 to 500 people, mostly young men of Moroccan origin with Dutch citizenship. They have created a complex infrastructure, from car theft to their modification, from target reconnaissance to the direct execution of attacks. Each performs their role. There are specialists in car theft, explosives experts, drivers, and logisticians. At the same time, in North Rhine-Westphalia, ATMs explode almost every other day. Some of this money, the criminals invest in legal businesses, including auto repair shops and tuning studios. A separate line of investigation is related to a newer T, who ran a network of garages in Utrecht. Stolen vehicles were stored there, which were then sold to various criminal groups with new numbers. His arrest made it possible to uncover an important part of the gang's logistical structure. In response to the growing threat, banks began to introduce new security systems. Devices are being installed that pour paint over the money or glue it into a solid block if an attempt is made to hack them. In the Netherlands, most ATMs have been moved to residential areas, which has significantly complicated the work of criminals. In 2021, only 20 attacks were recorded there. It is interesting to trace the evolution of the gang's methods. Initially, they used gas for blasting. When banks installed gas neutralization systems, the criminals switched to explosives and tape, which they placed near the cash dispensing slot. In 2020, the number of such attacks increased by 516.7%. One of the biggest successes was the arrest of Tarek BS Group, which carried out at least 15 bombings in Germany. The investigation lasted a year and a half and made it possible for the first time to study in detail the organizational structure of the criminals. It turned out that they had created a full-fledged personnel training system. However, even successful arrests do not stop the gang's activities. When control is strengthened in one region, the criminals simply move to another where protection is weaker. After the police intensified their efforts on the German-Dutch border, attacks became more frequent in other federal states of Germany. An important factor is the adaptability of the criminals. They are constantly improving their methods, studying new security systems, and finding ways to circumvent them. In Amsterdam, a series of powerful explosions occurred over 4 months, but out of 12 attempts, only one was successful. That's how serious the countermeasures have become. The investigation continues, and the police of both countries are constantly improving their methods of fighting. But the main difficulty lies in the fact that the Audi Gang is not a traditional criminal organization, but a new type of criminal phenomenon. As one of the German investigators noted, for effective counteraction, new approaches and even closer international cooperation are needed. With each new incident, it becomes increasingly obvious that this problem requires a comprehensive solution. It is not enough to simply catch the perpetrators. It is necessary to undermine the entire infrastructure, cut off the channels for selling stolen goods, and block financial flows. Only such a comprehensive strategy can yield real results in the fight against this unique criminal phenomenon. But for now, the Audi Gang continues its activities, constantly evolving and adapting. It seems that this confrontation is far from over, and there are still many unexpected turns ahead in this exciting but dangerous game between criminals and the law. 2023 has opened a new era in the history of European crime. At a conference of police unit chiefs in Brussels, a shocking statement was made. We can no longer consider the Audi Gang as an ordinary criminal group. This is the first case where a criminal organization is evolving faster than the methods of fighting it. The digital revolution has fundamentally changed the rules of the game. Whereas previously the criminal world developed according to understandable schemes, now we are witnessing the emergence of hybrid forms of crime. The Audi Gang has become the first organization to combine physical crimes with high-tech methods of planning and coordination. Security experts note an alarming trend. Traditional criminal groups are beginning to copy the methods of the Audi Gang. In Italy, there have been cases where the local mafia uses similar tactics to attack cash-in-transit vehicles. In France, groups specializing in the theft of luxury cars using high-tech equipment have appeared. The banking sector is experiencing a real revolution. For the first time in history, financial institutions are forced to reconsider not only security systems, but also the very principle of working with cash. In Switzerland, the concept of smart vaults is being developed. Fully automated bank branches without staff, protected by artificial intelligence. International experts predict 3 possible scenarios for the development of the situation. The first is that the technological arms race will lead to the emergence of a new generation of security systems capable of effectively countering any hacking attempts. The second is that the financial system will completely abandon cash, rendering attacks on ATMs pointless. The third, most alarming, is the emergence of a global network of high-tech criminal groups. The influence of the Audi Gang phenomenon is felt far beyond the criminal world. Architects are reconsidering the principles of designing bank branches. A new direction is emerging: secure architecture. where security is integrated into the building's design itself. Urban planners are creating special zones with controlled access for the placement of financial institutions. The security industry is also undergoing transformation. Traditional security firms are giving way to high-tech companies specializing in comprehensive solutions. New products are appearing on the market, from quantum encryption systems to autonomous interceptor drones. The insurance business is forced to adapt to new realities. Companies are developing special products to protect against high-tech crimes. New types of insurance are emerging against cyber-physical attacks, against failures in security systems, against losses due to forced branch closures. Particular attention is drawn to the impact of this phenomenon on police training. New disciplines are appearing in police academies that combine traditional criminology with the study of high technology. A new generation of investigators is being formed, capable of working at the intersection of the physical and digital worlds. The psychology of the criminal world is also changing. Whereas previously status in the criminal environment was determined by physical strength and cruelty, now technical skills and intelligence are coming to the fore. This leads to the emergence of a new type of criminal, a highly educated professional with a deep understanding of technology. Sociologists note the formation of a new phenomenon, the technological romanticization of crime. In mass culture, the image of the intelligent criminal is beginning to supplant traditional criminal archetypes. This is especially noticeable in the attitude of young people who perceive high-tech crimes as a kind of intellectual challenge. Economists predict long-term consequences for the financial system. The cost of maintaining the ATM network is becoming so high that banks are beginning to actively promote alternative ways of obtaining cash. Commentators compare these shots to scenes from The Fast and the Furious, but with one key difference: this is real life. The music industry has also not been left out. German and Dutch rappers release tracks about the Audi Gang. The lyrics glorify speed, technical skill, and the audacity of the criminals. Some songs become hits, despite criticism for romanticizing crime. Paradoxically, it is the Audi brand itself that has benefited the most from this phenomenon. The RS6 model, which was previously known only to a narrow circle of car enthusiasts, has become iconic. Audi dealerships report a significant increase in interest in this model. Young people come to car dealerships and directly state that they want the same car as the gangs. Officially, Audi distances itself from any associations with criminal activity. But marketers admit, the free advertising provided by the Audi Gang is worth millions of euros. The RS6 has become a symbol of speed, technical excellence, and a rebellious spirit. Everything that any sports car manufacturer dreams of. Whole communities of fans are forming on social networks. They discuss each new attack, analyze the technical modifications of the vehicles, and argue about escape routes. Some even try to justify the actions of the criminals, portraying them as modern-day Robin Hoods challenging the system. Film studios are already fighting for the rights to film the story of the Audi Gang. Several scripts are in development. Hollywood producers see the potential in this story to create a new franchise that can compete with The Fast and the Furious. Social media experts note the uniqueness of the situation. For the first time in history, a criminal group is receiving this level of public support not because of political or social motives, but solely due to the style of their crimes. Speed, technology, skill, all this resonates with modern culture, especially among young people. The police and sociologists are sounding the alarm. The romanticization of the Audi Gang can lead to the emergence of imitators. Already now, in different countries, attempts are being recorded to copy their methods. Young people, inspired by stories of brazen robberies and breakneck chases, may try to repeat the exploits of their idols. Video games are even appearing online where players can try their hand at being members of the Audi Gang. Simulators of chases and modified RS6s collect thousands of downloads. Game developers say they are simply responding to audience demand, but critics accuse them of promoting crime. The Audi Gang phenomenon has become the subject of serious sociological research. Scientists are trying to understand why criminal activity causes such fascination in society. Preliminary conclusions suggest that the gang has become a symbol of protest against the system, an embodiment of the dream of speed and freedom. Interestingly, even professional race car drivers express respect for the driving skills of gang members. In private conversations, they admit that driving a car at such speeds in urban conditions requires exceptional skills. Although publicly, of course, they condemn the use of these skills for criminal purposes. Journalists note another interesting aspect. The Audi Gang has created a new type of criminal celebrity. Unlike traditional criminals, they do not seek publicity, do not give interviews, and do not boast about their achievements. This mysteriousness only enhances their appeal in the eyes of the public. Social networks are full of conspiracy theories and speculation about the identities of the gang members. Each new robbery triggers an avalanche of posts and comments. Fans analyze every detail, create maps of the alleged routes, and discuss the technical specifications of the modified vehicles. The Audi Gang phenomenon has become a prime example of how, in the modern world, the line between real crime and mass entertainment is blurring. The story of high-tech robbers has turned into a kind of reality show watched by the whole world. How will this confrontation end? Will law enforcement agencies finally be able to stop the elusive criminals? Or will the Audi Gang transform into something even more dangerous? For now, these questions remain unanswered. But one thing can be said for sure. We are witnessing the birth of a new era in the criminal world. An era where speed, technology, and intelligence become the main weapons. Maybe right now, as you watch this video, somewhere on the German autobahns, a black Audi RS6 is speeding, and its driver already knows something that we will only find out tomorrow.